Hello everybody, thanks for joining me again. Well, I'm at Tintern Abbey today on the side of the River Wye, out with some friends, and of course brought the camera with me, so the vlog's going to be a bit different this week. But it's a nice sunny day, some lovely autumn colours, and this big old ruin to take some photos of, so let's see what we find, shall we? Well, I'm sure you can see there's some stunning light inside the old abbey itself. Light streaming in here through the windows. And beyond you've got all that autumn colour just outside. Got to be a photo here somewhere. So as the day was going to be a little bit different and we were a little bit rushed, I thought I'd just concentrate on the composition and the content of these photographs. Started with looking out of the old windows to the hillside beyond, some lovely colours there. And I tried this as a straight on shot with the window in the middle, but looked a bit too symmetrical. And I like this, using the larger arch inside the abbey as the centrepiece and then just offsetting the window. We were struggling with some Harris fencing that was getting in the way. And this one, more light streaming in through the windows. I think you can see what I was trying to do. It was lighting up this part of a column that was left. And struggling really to get the right composition here. Didn't really want it in the centre. And there's some light on the right hand side that interrupts a little bit. So we're just out of season here really, although there's some lovely colours. The chaps here at the Abbey are taking the opportunity to do some renovation work, so unfortunately there's quite a lot of Harris fencing around. So a bit of a challenge. But I have found a little shot here away from the Abbey itself. There's this lovely large oak tree here, and the sun shining through the leaves is just great. So I'm using the branches and the leaves to frame the abbey in the background. Let's show you what that looks like. You can see if I move from side to side I can get the trees just to frame the abbey nicely. Let's see if I can make an interesting photo of this. Well, as before, I was trying to exclude all that Harris fencing in the bottom of the shot, so the composition isn't as nice as I would have liked. But you can see what I'm trying to do. I like the branches above, silhouetted with the nice autumn colours, and it frames the abbey really nicely. So thinking about those branches, I tried this sort of elongated shot. Really showcases those branches silhouetted against the blue sky. The blues and the yellows of the leaves work really well. And although the top of the abbey's framed, I've left it onto the left hand side, and yeah, I think this works really well. My friend Steve had found some reflections of the abbey and was trying to get some images of that, and I tried that as well, but wasn't that successful. But what I did find was this. Looking through one of the windows back at the oak tree that I was standing under earlier, I noticed that the cracks and patterns in the stonework almost mirrored the tree. So I focus stacked this by focusing first on the rocks and then on the tree and putting this image together, and I thought it was a little bit different. But looking through at the tree, I noticed in the distance there were some students. They seemed to be drawing the church, or the abbey should I say, and this young lady sat on the wall with her red top really stood out against the natural colours of the tree. Also, I think this tells a great story. You've got an empty bench, he's sat on the wall doing something, either reading or drawing, and just leaves you with questions about the picture, which I really like. Just looking over the wall of the abbey here, so much colour in the hillside and the woodlands beyond, so I think we might move on and see what else we can find. Well, I'm sure you can see what I like about this photograph. I like the stone walls, the plainness of the actual abbey itself, and then those lovely colours behind. Framing wise, I thought this 4x5 worked best, and almost looks Mediterranean. And as we were leaving the abbey, just up the hill you can get a good view back, and I found sort of this angle with the wall in front worked best. There's a few houses with satellite dishes and a lot of wires and things, so it's difficult to get a good shot from a distance, but I think this works really well. Well, just before we leave the abbey, I said this video would be a bit disjointed. On the spur of the moment, we found an old abandoned church, St Mary's Church, just up the hillside from the abbey here. And what a place! Lovely Gothic shots of the graveyard and this old abandoned church. So let me show you those now. So again, it was all about composition here. Some nice crosses in the churchyard, and the church tower still standing behind. And I didn't want to disturb anything, so unfortunately there's a bramble just across the front of the cross. Difficult to clone out in post-processing, so I've just left it as it is. And I like this shot with this cross silhouetted on the left and the tower on the right. I have obviously given the sky a little bit more contrast, and there's quite a heavy vignette on the whole photograph to draw your eye into the centre. But with this sort of moody shot, I don't think that really matters and just adds to the photograph. Well, so you know, I said we found that church, St Mary's Church. Well, we've come back when it's dark, and I try some light painting. So let's have a look at what those look like. Well, this was a little bit outside my comfort zone, standing in a ruined church at night. But we started by doing some light painting on the outside of the church, and again, all about composition. This grave in front of me, just wanted to get the right angle to lead you up to the church, and this was a 30-second exposure. My friend Steve was using his torch just to paint the front of the church, and it came out really well. So next we tried putting a light inside the church itself and then photographing from outside, and you can also see it's a really clear night. Lots of stars. So I was trying to get the silhouette of the church, but also get some detail in the sky. And I think it works quite well. And then combining the two. So we've got a light inside the church. You can see it lighting the trees up behind and the doorway. And then again, a 30-second exposure lighting up the front of the church. Really nice. I have taken some colour out of the trees in the background, bit of contrast in the sky. And then lastly, inside the church again, some nice detail on the windows, and with a little bit of light just to show the outline of the window and then concentrate on the stars beyond. This looks less spooky than the other photos, so really pleased with this, but I'm not sure I'll want to go back again. Well, good morning everybody. Well, that was an interesting night last night, trying some light painting on that old abandoned church. A little spooky, standing in a graveyard for a few hours in the dark, but well worth it. So as I said, a little bit different this week. Staying with some friends, some old skydiving friends, and a couple of us are photographers, so we're out with the cameras. So the mission today is to find some lovely autumn colours in the forest here. Let's see what we can find, shall we? Well, it wasn't long before I found this. This is just off the edge of the car park, looking into the forest. As you can see, there was some lovely light shining through the trees, and this composition is just meant to highlight the trees themselves, just getting some separation between them and then letting the forest speak for itself, really. Well, I'm hoping for a bit of mist coming up the side of the valley here. It's down in the river valley, and some lovely colours in the trees, but I could do with a bit of mist coming up. I'm going to take this shot because I just like the collection of trees and colours, but there is something just missing. Let me show you what I'm doing. Those trees are quite some way away. I don't think I need too much of a depth of field, so I'm trying f8, ISO 100, and then just changing the shutter speed. There's not a breath of wind. I've got a circular polariser on just to help with the colours, and although I've got a wider shot in here, I'm actually hoping just for, again, a letterbox shot in the middle there. Let's focus in on the trees. 2-second timer. Let's just capture those colours to start with and see what that looks like. I can see a lovely tree over to the left there. Just going to have a go and look at that. The mist seemed to be ebbing and flowing up the side of the valley, so with a bit of patience I managed to capture this image, and I've gone back to this letterbox style, which I really like. The trees give it some structure, and you can see those light rays coming through the trees. Took loads of photographs, so I won't show them all now, and I'll save them up for the end of the video if you get that far, but a good start. Well, this tree looks really nice. I love the shape of the trunk and the branches. I love the colours. Again, there's not much separation to the background. That mist hasn't materialised yet. But again, I like the colours and the structures, so I'm going to take the photo anyway. Had to slow the shutter speed down to half a second. Let's give that a go, shall we? As I said earlier, I was really just concentrating on the content of the images and the composition, so I'm sure you can see what I'm trying to do here. Some great structure in the trunk of this tree and some lovely colour in the leaves hanging down, so I've tried to capture both. Put the trunk on the left hand side, and I think this works. But then I've tried a portrait shot to capture all of the trunk and branches, and this certainly does work as a photograph, more balanced than the other one. You know, the ground is on the bottom third, got the tree going up the middle and branching out into the top, and the leaves behind, the silhouettes of the trunk, works really well. But I still like these letterbox shots, so again, zooming in on the trunk of the tree, just giving that bit of structure on the left hand third, and with the leaves just a little bit of separation, if you notice, at the bottom of the shot, just so it doesn't overlap the edges. Only thing I don't like is the dark green bush in the left hand side. Okay, I'd better move on and catch up with the others. Let's see if they found anything better. Well, not too much B-roll today because I'm with the guys, but taken a few shots. But as you'll know, there might be lovely colours, leaves on the ground, some really nice light. But is there a photograph? All about composition, isn't it? And not found it just yet. Might take a shot along the path in a moment. Let me show you. As you can see, there's the other retrobates. It's like an episode of Last of the Summer Wine at the moment. Talking rubbish and taking the occasional photograph. As you can see, some spectacular colours. Maybe a shot back along the path. Well, of course, that worked really well. Gives you a focus point in the distance. I have just increased the exposure just in the middle, just to brighten up the centre of the shot. A little bit of a vignette on it, leads you down the path. But I'm sure you'll agree the light shining through the trees across the path and the leaves works really well. Well, I'm sure, as you can see by the light on my face, the light's quite harsh now, so we've decided to concentrate on finding different fungi and mushrooms, and just concentrating on the small things. Really nice walk. I'll put up the details in the description below, so if you come into the Forest of Dean, you'll be able to find this. Well, we've decided to come on quite a long walk called the Long Trail. Had to take a shortcut because it is quite long and we didn't know how far it was going to go. Anyway, come across some quite nice mushrooms or toadstools, whatever they are, on the side of this fallen log. So let's have a go at that. So, with a little help from Steve, who was just taking that other photograph, I managed this shot. Now this is a single shot focused in on the first toadstool. So the front of it's in focus and the back is all out of focus. Works really well with Steve lighting up the toadstools in the background. And then focusing in on the first toadstool, as you can see, the cap itself is in acceptable focus, but the stem and everything else fades away into the background. Could have focus stacked the image just to get a little bit more depth of field in the toadstool, but I think again works okay. Well everybody, I think I'm going to call it a day. Been a lovely walk through this nature reserve. For those of you who are interested, it's the Nagshead Nature Reserve in the Forest of Dean. Very nice. Lovely colours this time of year. So I'm just on the edge of the car park and the lads are looking for an all-day breakfast, so I think that's what we're going to go and do. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hopefully I'll see you soon. But for now, cheerio.